FMVs, or full motion video, is a type of presentation used in video games, often reserved for cutscenes. What if I told you there was an entire game built around this idea? It's called Dragon's Lair, and with the animation whimsy of Don Bluth, of All Dogs Go to Heaven, Firefall, and The Land Before Time fame, it was certainly something that stood out in the arcades. Now unfortunately, we aren't here to talk about the arcade games, we're here to talk about
Dragon's Lair, released in 1990 on the Nintendo Entertainment System by Elite. Now, is this one as groundbreaking as the arcade counterparts? Well...
From deep within Mordrok's castle, a foul stench rose up to mix with the cold, damp air, a telltale sign of the evil wizard's pet fire-breathing dragon, Singe. Dirk the Daring walked steadily towards the castle gate. He felt no fear, for fear was for cowards, not the most courageous knight in the land. No other would dare enter this perilous castle, where Mordrok had imprisoned the helpless princess. Now was the time to enter the Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair is one of my original childhood NES games. I had it along with DuckTales, Disney Adventures, and Dr. Mario. So suffice to say, there's a little bit of nostalgia here. Just a quick note on the regional differences here. For some reason, the PAL version is actually faster, and it has upgrades, like an extra boss, scene transitions, and most usefully, a cheat for 30 lives. Enter the code BATS in the name screen after a game over, and your following playthrough, you'll start with 30 lives, Contra style. As you can see, Dragon's Lair is a side-scrolling platformer, sort of. It's one of the stiffest feeling games around, as Dirk jumps like he's on the moon, and he walks like a tranquilized snail. Even in the PAL version. The game's also quite brutal, with one-hit kills and some very tricky jumps. On looks and sounds, Dirk's sprite is massive, which, looks good and detailed, but the trade-off isn't worth it, because almost everything can hit you and kill you. Now, you can crouch and crawl, but this too is incredibly stiff and slow feeling. It just doesn't feel good to play. But I actually love the music, especially the first track. Now, as I said at the beginning, I grew up with this game, and this was always one of those, it must be unfinished, or poorly made, or something. I actively hated it, quickly dying every time I popped it in, but that said, I would also come back and try again. And again. And again. Apart from its awesome arcade entries, it also had many home ports, sequels, spin-offs, and even a TV series. These days you can play the original arcade trilogy on modern consoles, which is great news. So, on pricing, we're looking at about $30 for a cart, and complete's going for around $80. So, that was Dragon's Lair. My first exposure to a fairly interesting franchise that is a lot better than this game here. It's slow, stiff, and hard as nails. Now I do have a certain nostalgia for it, but I do gotta say, this one is barrel bound. Now, in retrospect, there are no bad games, but there are bad entries to great franchises. This is one dragon that shall remain unslain. See you later.